like a serving plate, a black serving plate.
Okay. Well, it says we're connected. So, hello, everyone. If you're listening and joining us in the middle of some tech router chat there.
Oh, red hot router chat.
This is the Piett Society Live. We're a podcast that talks about the weird news. We go through the stories from last week and we tell you which ones we think are the weirdest. And we have a little bit of fun along the way. I'm Albert Galpin. With me tonight is Darren Saunders. Hi, Darren. How are you?
I am radiant, I think is probably the best term.
Oh, good. Yes, I like that term.
Yes.
Very nice. I'm just going to change a quick sound setting on mine, if I may. I'm going to turn off my...
You appear to have turned off your microphone completely. Nope, I cannot hear you.
I managed to mess that up completely, did I?
You're back now.
Well, so much for doing that. Simple change of a setting before we get into it.
Yes.
Never mind. Okay, so we're going to talk about some news stories in a moment. But first, how was your festive period?
My festive period was wonderfully relaxed, actually. I was off work the entire time. I ate so much cheese, but I still have loads of cheese left. I had 5 Christmas puddings to start with, and I now have 2. There's a reason for having 5. It's not gluttony. And yeah, basically it was great. I watched a lot of telly. I spent an entire day playing Death Stranding and half a day downloading its updates.
Did you plan for that in advance, or did you get ready to play and then be hit with it?
As I'm at best a casual gamer, I did not plan it in advance. I thought we downloaded it. We installed it on the computer a couple of months back. That's fine, isn't it? No, it needed 35 gigabytes of updates.
Oh, my word. That's a lot.
I mean, that's the whole game, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. There's every single thing wrong with the game. We have to sit down the whole game.
I think what it was,
line of code.
They just launched some Cyberpunk 2077 tie-in content for it. I don't know. I've not played that game either. And so I think it was 35 gigabytes of its bugs.
Yeah. Wow. I always love it. Do you remember back in the day when they used to release games when they were finished?
Yes. You'd buy a cartridge and you'd put that cartridge in your NES and it would work.
Yeah.
And there was 2 hours worth of game on it. And the game was tiny and it was a bit crap, really. But it worked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I remember we were looking into something like this before. I did on my old podcast, Ministry of Swooping, when we did fact checks. Someone had come up to the point that the entire Super Mario Brothers game was something like 49 kilobytes.
I can tell you exactly how big it is because I've got it on my hard drive. In fact, I've got the entire NES, Game Boy, SNES, and I think Game Boy Color catalog on my iCloud drive.
Nice.
For playing on an emulator that I've got on my phone.
Yeah, excellent. I've been meaning to look into that because I've got an emulator on my TV.
Ooh.
And I was thinking of trying them out, but I haven't done that yet.
100% worth it.
Not enough time in the day to do all this stuff.
There is that.
One of the things my wife got me for Christmas, she got me the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. Or at least she was going to, but they didn't have any physical copies anywhere. The only ones she found were on eBay at 90 quid, and someone was obviously buying them up and selling them on. So she got me a PlayStation Network voucher so that I could buy the digital copy.
Sweet.
I haven't even asked her what the code is yet because I've been too busy with too many other things. I haven't had time to sit down and do it.
Yeah.
So at some point I will get a bit of gaming in, I'm hoping.
That doesn't seem likely. You run a radio station now.
I run a radio station and I have a toddler. And I do this show. Yeah, and a full-time job. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what I'm thinking sometimes.
You have 4 full-time jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, and the radio station has been almost a full-time job the last week or so as I get some new stuff up and running. This show, for those who are watching our video, this show will then go out on the radio station on Friday night. 7 o'clock on the bear.live. There you go, as a plug. Lots of great shows. And we will be on Friday night at 7, followed by at 8 o'clock, For's a Crowd, which is a podcast sitcom. And there will be 2 episodes of that this Friday night. So lots of good stuff. If you like listening to various things, Darren's got a show. I've got a show. I did one last night. Darren did one the night before.
And I would hazard a guess that no one listened to my show, at least for the first hour, because it happened to coincide with a haunted scarecrow going on telly and telling us how messed up everything is.
It also coincided with a football game that I was watching. So I had the football on the TV. Scarecrow was on the laptop when my wife was watching, whilst I was trying to have headphone in as well, listening to you.
You liar.
It was too much.
What was the second song I played?
I don't know. I didn't tune in.
Yeah, exactly. You're a liar. You weren't listening.
Not at the beginning. No.
It was Stephen Gately, by the way, because I'm very cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I managed to play on my show last night some everything from what did I have on one point? I end the show every week with Morecambe and Wise. But in the middle last week, I had some Children of Bodom in the middle of my show.
Yeah, I tried to get a little bit of metal into mine, but my mum told me off. She listens to it on Mixcloud while she's doing her sewing on a Wednesday. Yeah, she said, I like your show. I like what you do, but I don't like it when you play that AC/DC type music. I thought, God, if AC/DC's the heaviest my mother will go, then, well, I've got no hope of getting anything rock and roll in there, have I, without getting a telling off.
Well, what I try to do is each week I play 3 cover versions that all link into each other one way or another. And for some reason, I had decided which song I was going to try and get in there when I heard one. So I started off with the Beatles, Roll Over Beethoven.
Nice.
And then I played Eddie Murphy, Good Day Sunshine. And then, of course, there's only one Eddie Murphy track, Party All the Time. And one of the few covers I found of that was Children of Bodom. It was a very interesting combination going from Beethoven to finished heavy metal. I
could posit another suggestion for Eddie Murphy that you apparently missed.
Oh, go for it.
His version of Livin' La Vida Loca that he did in Shrek.
I did think of some of the Shrek stuff. Yeah. But it's lots of different options, so I try and do that every week, the cover chain, so I will try and think of another one for next week. It's always an option for if I ever get into Taylor Swift, because she does some covers, and then of course there's Ryan Adams got an entire album of Taylor Swift covers. So
which I really liked. I really liked that, but then it was pointed out to me that I really liked music by a white man covering a woman, and it's like, covering a woman in a way that he's essentially saying, yeah, what you did was fine, but look, this is better, isn't it? Yeah, well, exactly. Come on, sit aside, love. Let me show you how it's done now. It's like, I'm just going to play the same standard chord progressions and whiny white boy sad music.
Yes, but there is an element of that to it. But if I ever, you can tell if I'm feeling lazy on the cover chain. If you hear those two in combination, it's been a slow research week.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is I'm going to read out some headlines in a moment. Seeing as there's just the 2 of us this week, we'll go through these 2 of us. 5 stories. We're going to ditch one of them, and then we'll go through the other 4 and decide which one of them is our story of the week. So the headlines, number 1 comes from the Metro, and it is coin removed from man's nose after being stuck for more than 50 years. The second is from the Guardian. It is Denmark launches children's TV show about man with giant penis. Number 3 from UPI. Jeweler breaks a record with 12,638 diamonds set in one ring. Number 4 is also in the Metro. Mum reckons she's found Jesus in a Brussels sprout days before Christmas. And number 5 on Lad Bible. The company is developing a fully functioning condom with a hole in it. So there are 5 headlines this week. Was there any that struck you as being pants at first glance?
The one that I instinctively want to get rid of is the condom one.
Okay.
Because it's an advert, and you know where I stand on that.
This is true.
Also, it's on Lad Bible, which is reprehensible.
Fair enough. I will. If anyone thinks that was wrong and wants to know what the story is about, I'll tweet the link to it later, and you can find out what this condom with the hole is. Judge for yourself whether the story was good or just a big marketing ploy. It probably was. There seems to be one almost every week that's just a marketing ploy of some kind. Story number one, though, definitely is not a marketing ploy. A coin removed from a man's nose after 50 years. It's been stuck there for more than 50 years. Let's have a look at the headline here. Let's get this in position so you can see it. Yes, there it is. There is said coin for those watching. The coin removed from his nose after it was stuck for more than half a century. 59-year-old unnamed Russian man was just 6 when he wedged the money into his right nostril, and he was too scared to tell his strict mother. Later forgot. The man apparently managed to unimpeded by the blockage until recently started complaining he couldn't breathe at all in his right nostril. He went to hospital and was given a scan which showed the unexpected object. Right on the lips, stones in the nasal cavity had formed around the coin, constricting his ability to breathe. Medics carried out endogeneral anesthetic, removing the stones and Soviet 1 kopeck coin from the nose after 53 years. The money officially went time ceased to be used in Russia after the USSR's collapse in 1991, and the hammer and sickle emblem was no longer visible on the coin. There you go. And there's another. So it's been so long, it's no longer legal tender.
I think you'll find that's legal tender. That's a little Michael McIntyre joke there for all the kids out there, keeping it relevant. Anyway, you said that this one definitely isn't a marketing ploy. Clearly, this is big Soviet coinage dropping in their viral advertising. At least I assume that's a coin.
Yeah, it's round. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
I read this story earlier, and it reminded me of I once saw a video on YouTube, because YouTube's amazing. It's got videos of almost anything you could ever care to see, and there is a surprising amount of videos of things being pulled out of people's noses. And there was one guy who had gone in complaining of a stuffy nose, and it turned out that he had had an operation sometime before that, some 5-10 years before that, and somehow they'd left this packing in his nose, and the video was then pulling it out. And they put the tweezers up there, and they start pulling and pulling and pulling. And the amount, it was like when a magician pulls whatever, like a string of hankies out of their sleeve. It just kept coming and coming. It was like 6 foot of this cotton wadding up this guy's nose. And I'm like, imagine how good that must have felt to come out.
Yeah.
That must have been amazing.
Yeah.
That was all.
You're bunged up and you have a good blow of your nose and you're clearing it.
Yeah.
Time in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Years. Yeah, I can imagine that.
I couldn't imagine how good. Incredible.
I must have had sinus pain and all sorts and been like, okay, this is what it feels like to be human.
Yeah.
I had forgotten this feeling. I like this feeling.
What's that smell? Holy shit, can you put it back? Turned out he was from Portsmouth. Way.
Oh dear. Yeah, so coin up the nose for over 50 years. I mean, I know men are not great at going to doctors and saying what's wrong, but 50. I don't understand how, after sticking a coin up your nose, you then forget that.
Well, who among us hasn't inserted something and then forgotten about it? I don't care to elaborate on that.
I was going to say, going to do any more on this? So that is our first story. There's nothing more to it than that. Guy stuck a nose and forgot about it for 50 years. The second one is, I picked this up, and now it seems to be all over the place on social media. So apologies if everyone out there has already seen this. But it's about Denmark. In Denmark, they've launched a children's TV show about a man with a giant penis. there is a picture of said man with giant penis, which seems to be pouring lighter fluid on a barbecue, which even more than the long penis. That's a dangerous. Don't show them such dangers. Get the penis. It's a fire hazard. John Dillermand has an extraordinary penis. The story starts. So extraordinary he can perform rescue operations, hoist a flag, and even steal ice cream from children. The equivalent of the BBC, DR, has a new animated series aimed at 4 to 8 year olds about John Dillermand, the man with the world's longest penis, who overcomes hardships and challenges with his record-breaking genitals. Unsurprisingly, the series has provoked good children's television should and should not contain. Well, I've just told you it should not contain
fire hazard penises. Oh, hello. Well, I do believe I'm on air on my own now. Al's internet appears to have given up. So, hi everybody, and welcome along to the Dead Piett Society, in which Al was telling us all about a Danish guy with an enormous penis. A cartoon. I'm not very good at vamping when I just have to talk about stuff. But there's no one watching anyway, I don't think. So, if you're watching me look awkwardly at the camera, then please drop a message on the chat over there. Or there. I don't know which way. There he is. You just disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You carried on though.
Watching me look awkwardly at the camera, then please. God, I sound sexy, don't I?
You do.
I don't often get to enjoy the sound. Yes, I do. I record myself a lot.
Yeah, sorry, I dipped out there as we were talking about John Dillermand, the man with the magic penis. Actually, I won't do that on because it's just words now. It starts Saturday in Denmark, this TV show. Opponents have condemned the idea of a man who cannot control his penis. Is this if you want to send to children while in the middle of a huge meeting? Wave wrote Lisa Marstrand Johansson. The show comes months after TV presenter Sophie Linde kickstarted Denmark's Me Too movement. Christian Gross, an associate professor and gender researcher at Roskilde University, said he believed the program's celebration of the power of male genitalia could only set equality back. It's perpetuating the standard idea of patriarchal society and normalizing locker room culture that's been used to excuse a lot of bad behavior from men. It's meant to be funny, so it's seen as harmless, but it's not, and we're teaching this to our kids. It does go on a bit more, but I can kind of understand in a way where they're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult one. Yes, they're right. A show about a man who can't control his penis is stunningly tone deaf. But it is very funny.
Yeah. It's what struck me as funny about the initial picture there is that his penis is dressed in the same sort of long underwear that the rest of him is.
Yeah. Where do you buy such underwear?
Yeah. Or who has made that for him?
Yeah.
Can you,
what's
in the crotch, can you make a little tube like 20 foot? What?
Yeah. And what's the backstory to a man's prehensile penis? I feel like the first series would have to be the origin story.
Yeah. They look at him. He's got a moustache. He's a fully grown man.
Was he?
That should have. I don't like a man who had that. Probably wouldn't have lived to that age.
No.
He probably would have done something stupid before now, or have been killed.
Got it wrapped around something. Was he bitten by a radioactive Ron Jeremy?
Yeah.
And there's a line at the end of the article. What was it? DR responded to the latest criticism by saying it could just as easily have made a program about a woman with no control over her vagina. And how do you make that show? Is it like a third hand? I seriously get answers on a postcard. Send them to Broadcasting House, and
yes,
yeah. Tell me, how the hell do you write a show about a woman with an uncontrollable vagina, apart from Sex in the City?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the picture of him is also, like I say, him picking up lighter fluid, putting it on a barbecue. Couldn't do that with a woman.
Well, you could, but
unless hers also come out that far.
Like,
in which case, probably the same.
Like, but that would be alien.
Yeah.
Its mouth inside its mouth. Or the woman would have to crab along the garden, holding onto a can of lighter fluid up her wahoo-hoo.
Is it not going to, straddle over the barbecue whilst you do that?
I don't think that's a good idea.
No, they haven't thought that through.
They have not.
They said we could have easily done it with a woman, but then you're like, no.
Yeah, like Donald Trump keeps saying, we could do this, we will do that, and never does any of it. This is the same thing.
It's the same thing. Absolutely.
Anyway. Anyway, they've made a show about me with my no. This actually explains a tweet that I saw earlier. That I didn't understand it. It was, I can't even remember who it was. I think it might have been Neil Miles, who I follow. He posted something along the lines of "Go on then, BBC, you cowards," or something like that, with a picture of Buster Gonads and his unfeasibly large testicles from Viz. So now I understand that joke.
Yeah, it's always fun when you see something out of bits like that. Sorry, I thought I just received a message about the show. It's like someone trying to buy a laptop, which I sold last night. Sorry, to it's blocked again. Who can see his name? Name will shame them. Adrian. Sorry, Adrian. Okay. Someone bought it off me last night who was obviously very desperate, and I think it's because they've got a child who will now be homeschooled. So
that reminds me, I need to wipe my old iPad and sell that for £300, even though it's only worth 60.
All of the money. You sell it for all of the money.
It's a first generation iPad Air that sweats when you turn it on, let alone do any work with it. But
I think mine's a second gen iPad Air. I got mine in Tokyo.
Very fancy.
Yes, because it's a lot cheaper than they are here.
Do you know, I was in Denmark. Was it Denmark or Norway? No, it was Norway. I was in Norway, and I was in need of a new laptop. Wow.
Someone said, here, but we've got to make a TV show about you.
No.
No, okay.
But I'm interested.
Well, you said Denmark, and we're just talking about Denmark TV show.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, I'm with you now. It's been a long couple of days. No, anyway, so I was in Norway, and I was like, I've got some money. I fancy buying a new laptop because I needed one for work and blah, blah, blah. And I went into the Apple store, or it was like an Apple reseller there. And do you remember when they had the 11-inch MacBook Air, the very first tiny little MacBook Air they had?
Yeah.
Right. And I went in and I priced that up and converted back to pounds. It was about $2,500 for the entry-level model. And a month later, I was in New York. It was when I was working on a cruise ship, so it's not like I was gadding about the world like a jet set Romeo. And it was, a month later, I was in New York, and I bought the one that I'm currently talking to you through, which is 4 times as powerful as that tiny little one, and it cost me $1,000. Never buy electricals in Scandinavia.
No, apparently not. Last, other than I bought this laptop and the sales earlier last year, but the old MacBook we had, we bought. Well, the first Mac we bought was in the last week of Kitty being a student to get the student deal, and then the second one we bought was working at the student to get the student union deal.
Nice.
And then it came in. Oh, actually, laptops are expensive, aren't they? We forgot, 25% odd discount the last 2 times.
Yeah. This is why I do everything on my iPad.
Yeah, once you've got one, if you can do everything on it, then why not?
Well, exactly. My iPad was £330, and in a couple of years' time, in let's say 4 years' time, when that thing's when it's starting to sweat a bit because it's getting old, for the same amount of money, I can get a bang up to date one, and in that time, I'll have paid for paid 2 iPads for the same price as less than 1 MacBook.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I have for you story number 3.
Sorry.
Which is an UPI. Why can't I do this? Where's my trackpad now not working? Ooh.
Knocking out the park tonight, aren't we?
Absolutely. There we go. That's a bit better. So the jeweler has broken a record for 12,638 diamonds set in one ring. And they were watching the stream tonight. There is a picture of the ring, which is quite something. It is a lot of diamonds.
I have thoughts. I will come to my thoughts after you've outlined the story.
Okay, well, this is a jeweler in India who's broken a Guinness World Record for putting 12,000 diamonds in a single ring. His name's Harshit Bansal. He's founder of Renani Jewels in Meerut, so possibly another marketing scam, this one. But he said he was studying jewelry design in 2018 when he started considering attempting the Guinness World Record for the most diamonds set in one ring. His company now unveiled the Marigold, known as the Ring of Prosperity, which features thousands of natural diamonds. My target was 10,000 diamonds. I trashed many designs and concepts over the years to finally zero in on this, he said. Guinness certified the ring as a record breaker when the diamonds were officially counted at 12,138. Previous record was a ring from India's Hallmark Jewelers for 701. So there we go. 12,000 diamonds in a ring.
Firstly, who among us hasn't had 12,000 diamonds, etc., in their ring, etc., etc.? My thoughts. Initially, my gut reaction was to ditch this story because it's nonsense, really. But I wanted to. That's no criticism of your story choosing, by the way. But I couldn't let it go unnoticed just how disgusting that creation is. It's one of those things. Firstly, there's nothing in that picture to indicate how big it is. There's no banana for scale.
No.
So I'm choosing to assume that thing is the size of a side plate. And the only person who would ever wear it is Melania Trump. Or Jar Jar Gabor.
I mean, just a photo from a slightly different angle with the actual, the ring part of it visible would give us an indication of how big that is.
Well, you couldn't on account of it being 16 feet across and the ring bit's just this tiny little bit in the middle at the bottom.
Yeah, it's made like a ring that you wear on one finger, but like Cap's shield.
Yeah, basically that's what it is.
It's Captain America's shield of diamonds.
Yeah. He can cut anything open with it.
Captain Diamond.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wanted to work out, he also made it before it was then counted and clarified. Once they're in that place, I wonder how you go counting them.
Hopefully without someone in the room going, 6, 19.
So if I was the Guinness guy, I'd be like, right, mate, the only way that I can ensure is I have to take them off one by one to count them, okay? And then you've got to put them all back on afterwards.
But how big are these diamonds? Are they dust? Are they like flecks of diamond dust, or are they like?
It says natural diamonds, doesn't it? Which means they've not been cut. So it probably does mean that they're quite small.
Yeah. Also, it's yet more proof that money doesn't buy class.
This is true.
This is the ring equivalent of a gold foil wrapped Lamborghini.
Yeah. There was a Twitter thread I saw last week of someone who'd shared a list of English country houses currently on Rightmove, all around the £3 million mark. And some of them, oh my God.
They're just hideous.
They are absolutely hideous. Some of them obviously haven't been updated inside in quite some time. Some might just be a bit dated. Others are just ridiculous. Some of them are the big rooms are just boxes, just square rooms with no character and nothing in them whatsoever.
Like a Barrett home.
Yeah, it's weird.
but huge.
There was a house. You occasionally watches something on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but it's like an interior design thing, and it's about this woman and her husband who have throughout the show they have seen a new house, designed everything of, but she's also they go into different people's houses and do one room in each of their houses each show. And they were doing this house for this couple, and the guy was an ex-professional basketball. I think he'd played for Madrid in Spain professionally, the basketball team. And they had this massive house, absolutely massive, with a kitchen had 2 islands in it. Not just one, 2 islands in it.
Are we talking like kitchen islands or Caribbean islands?
They were kitchen islands, but they were pretty big.
Well, my kitchen's so big, it's got mustique in the middle of it.
And it was Trinidad and Tobago in the middle of the thing. And they had, I think it was an 80-inch TV, which did not look big in the room because that's how big the room was.
Jesus.
And they showed it as an empty shell. And I'm like, that is massive. That is ridiculous. It's one of these soulless, big, square, horrible rooms. By the time she'd finished doing it, it had character and it looked really nice.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, she's managed to do it, unlike all these ones we saw on Rightmove this week.
Yeah.
One thing they did have, they walked connected directly to the house. You just walk around past the kitchen, there's a corridor there, then there's a double doors, and you go through the double doors, and there's this massive, full-size regulation basketball court in its own building, with quite full, the hoops that up into the loft. When you finished with them, they retract into the ceiling and all this. And it's got loads of big doors, massive, absolutely massive. That's like, he's got a lot of man's basketball if he's just putting his own garden effectively. And then it turned out that he really wanted to coach, but they really wanted to move to this area, and there was no gymnasium. There was nothing, no team could play locally because there was no court.
Right. So
I've built one on the end of my house, and the community can come around and use it, and I'm going to coach the kids.
Well, that's fair enough.
It's like all that, okay. He's a bit of a dude. It's like, okay, I want to do this, but I can't do it. I'm going to make it happen. Okay, if you've got the money to do it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I started going, I'm going to hate this guy. He's got this huge thing. What a nice.
I have to say, I've got to a stage with shows like that though, where I see these enormous houses and I see these enormous rooms, and I think that must cost a bloody fortune to heat.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That's all I can think of. I'm in my little dining room here. My wide angle lens on my phone makes it look bigger than it is, but this dining room isn't huge. That's only a baby grand piano behind me. But I've had to put some curtains across there to keep the heat in and close the doors. It costs a bloody fortune to do that. Imagine having a basketball court to heat.
Crazy.
No, not on a welder's wage.
Yeah, imagine it. Yeah, and in fact, it's connected to the house as well. It's not like it's winter now. We're not going to be playing a little bit. We'll shut it down.
Yeah,
it's glass double doors.
Yeah.
You're going to need to heat it all year round.
Yeah. Were you born in a barn?
He was in a part of the States that probably didn't necessarily need heating.
Well, no. Were you born in a barn? Well, no. It was a basketball court.
Oh dear.
Anyway.
Anywho, let's do the last one. Story number 4 for you is from the Metro. We've already had one from them tonight, and now we've got this. Mum reckons she's found Jesus and from the 23rd, and there's a picture of the Brussels sprout in question with a bit of a brown mark at the bottom, and she clearly thinks that looks like Jesus. Not entirely sure. I think it's one of those that I can see Hitler in it myself.
Funny you should say Hitler. I can see Richard Herring while doing the Hitler moustache show.
Yeah.
But with Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen's hair.
Yes, it's Lawrence. Yeah, it's kind of flowing hair.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. There's a little bit of all of them there in that process.
I don't recall Jesus having a moustache.
No, especially not one just like that.
No, although he was bearded, you know, so I guess
he was. Yeah,
he did technically have a moustache, but
maybe you never know. He may have had just that moustache, but maybe no one liked it. Maybe it was unpopular, so that when he came to be painted, everyone just filled it in and gave him a full beard.
Maybe so. Jesus P.I.
Jesus P.I.
Yeah, driving a Judean Ferrari. Yeah. So anyway, who doesn't love a story about someone seeing Jesus in a thing? Those are always good value for money, those stories.
So this is Shauna Roberts. That's a double take as she preps the chop at the bottom of a vegetable. What she's already looking like. Over her children, to show them the delivery. She said, I was taking out the sprouts, tailing them and putting a cross on the bottom, especially, and it turns out to be Jesus. And it saw the face. I remember thinking, oh my God, it could be Jesus. Or with it being so close to Christmas. Yeah, because he's renowned for on sprouts just for Christmas.
Oh, he is.
I didn't have to cook him, so I left the sprout in a corner cupboard, and he just sat up there for a little while.
And now he's rotted.
She's got stories all around. She's locked him in a cave, days. So that's not Christmas, love. That's it. I thought it was funny, and even funnier because I found him just before Christmas. When I saw the face, I shouted to the kids, "Look, I don't know if it's Johnny Depp or Jesus." I think it's a sprout, Mum. She added, "I'm not particularly religious. I describe myself as very open. I enjoy exploring all limits of people's religions and beliefs. I probably describe myself as spiritual." That's someone who doesn't know what they are. I don't know about Johnny Depp.
I'm not religious. I just like to see Jesus in things.
Yeah. This story does remind me, not the Jesus part of it, the Brussels sprout part of it reminds me of something else, and I'd forgotten it, otherwise I would have put it in the show, about the man who recently was tricked. He was ridiculed online because he bought himself some kind of artisan, natural, organic miniature cabbage from a grocer's in London for like £3, and then he posted a picture of it online, and everyone, including his mum, was like, "You're a twat, that's a Brussels sprout."
Oh, amazing.
So yeah,
amazing. Do you know what, on the subject of sprouts, I am now at an age, going back to that, you know, I am now at an age where I will actively eat sprouts because I like them. I bought some sprouts for Christmas because that's what you do, and I roasted them with olive oil and bacon and plenty of salt and garlic because that's the food of kings. And then the other night, I bought some more sprouts just to have with my tea. Okay. And I roasted them with duck fat and salt, and they were bang on. Nice. So I like sprouts now. And I don't know who I am anymore.
I have not reached that stage. I do not like sprouts. Kitty does, though. The wife, she enjoys the sprout.
Yeah.
She was the only one.
Kitty knows what's up.
She was excited about having her sister and her brother-in-law come to stay with us for Christmas, as was the original plan. Bought enough stuff that she liked, do not like, and that Hunter does not like, so that she could share with them. And then, of course, they're from London, so they were put in tier 4 just before Christmas. Couldn't come, and then we were like, she's like, "Oh crap, I've got loads of sprouts. What am I going to do?"
So she's still farting out the sprouts at this point.
No, we managed to. I was like, I'm determined to give everyone the best Christmas that we can, because also Christmas Day is also my birthday, and I'm like, I'm not going from.
Well, happy birthday! Why did I not know that you're the second coming? I mean, you don't have the moustache, I'll admit, but
no, don't see me on a Brussels sprout. And I thought, no, we need to make sure we have the best we can do, because Lottie and Mike had planned to come here. They obviously hadn't bought anything in for a Christmas dinner, and then Lottie works in the NHS. She's a nutritionist, so she was like, "Well, I'm stuck with work until Christmas Eve. I'm not going to be able to get anything in, probably. So what can we do?" So I was like, "Right, I'm off for the work for the week. You're home with Hunter. Leave it with me." So I packed up all the presents for Kitty's mum's side of the family, and I drove to Cambridge, and I looked on the door, opened the door. Here are your presents, Merry Christmas. Took the presents back from them. I'd also put stuff in the car to take to Lottie and Mike food-wise, half of our vegetables, some extra crisps and all that kind of stuff that we bought.
Extra crisps?
Cranberry sauce. Well, we bought extra crisps in for when they came.
No.
I mean,
there's no such thing as extra crisps. There's only crisps you haven't got around to eating yet.
This is true. So we thought, well, we'll share some of the crisps with them, bread sauce, this kind of stuff. And then Kitty's and not his mum were like, well, I've got a spare turkey crown. I've got a spare set this. So as I dropped on the presents, she also gave me a bag full of food. And then on the way home, I stopped at a petrol station just off the M25 and met Mike in the car park and was like, Merry Christmas, here's your presents. He's like, Merry Christmas, here's your presents. And then drove home again. It's literally spent all day from about 9. I think I got home about 4.
I'm imagining like Smokey and the Bandit, but you're driving hooky Christmas food around.
Yeah, it was it was a weird day, but kind of nice because it did mean that every family then on Christmas Day had all the presents for everyone. We didn't have to wait. So it was quite nice.
And you got to spend a day on your own in the car listening to podcasts.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
What more could a man want?
Absolutely. So yeah, it turned out to not be too bad in
Lovely.
End. Speaking of end, that actually brings us to the end of our news stories this week, 4 of them. So just to remind anyone who may have joined us partway through, we have had the coin removed from ancestors after being stuck there for more than 50 years. Denmark had launched a children's TV show about a man with a giant penis, a jeweler who had broken a Guinness record with 12,638 diamonds in one ring, and the mum who found Jesus in a Brussels sprout just before Christmas. What else? You got any that you were particularly a fan of?
My story of the week is the sprout story.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going for the sprout story. That entertained me suitably.
It was, yeah, like you say, faces and things are always always amusing.
Yeah, absolutely, always a winner.
So there we go. Then we'll officially make that our story of the week.
Booyah!
And of course, the one story that we didn't read for those who just joined us is a company that is developing a fully functioning condom with a hole in it. And I will tweet the link to that one later if you want to find out what that is all about.
I could sell a load of condoms with holes in. I've got a pin. I can't guarantee their efficacy, though.
There's a very specific hole for a very specific reason. And if you want to know what that is, look at the story. Story, I mentioned this last night on my radio show. I just realised these are sat here. These came in the post recently. They are Montezuma's snowballs. Orange, white chocolate balls. I have not tried them yet because I do not know where they came from. An Amazon package came from an A Galpin with no note, no gift note or anything like that. So I don't know where they come from.
Well, I can tell you it's not from me because you refuse to tell me where you live.
I didn't refuse to tell you.
Yeah, you do.
I haven't told you. You didn't ask. But I live here.
Oh, there you go then. It was from me.
So I know there's a scam that goes on Amazon where they randomly, if you get your details stolen, you might just find something turn up on your doorstep one day that you didn't order. And it's an indicator that maybe your data has been used for dodgy purposes. And they do it, I think, mainly for review purposes. They'll actually buy their own product, have it shipped to someone, and then write a fake review from that thing because it shows as a verified purchase. Then. So at first I was like, is this what's happened? But no, it came with an actual shipping number, an order number. I don't think they won't send you that if it's a
right.
They don't want to know. They don't want you finding out who did it. So it's from someone. I just don't know who it's from.
How weird.
It may be from work, but I am waiting on HR to confirm if they sent me something. Because there was a competition, various Christmas competitions just before we broke up. One of them was a joke competition, and I won worst joke. So it might be the prize to that.
I fail to believe that you told a joke that was so bad that you'd win a bad joke competition. Now you're a genius.
Yeah, well, I entered it hoping it was. I thought it was a good joke. I had one worse joke. So, and his joke, all it was, why do Christmas trees like the future? Because the present's beneath them.
Hey.
So
no.
I thought that was all right.
See, if I told that to my son, I'd then go in for a high five, and he'd just look at me and go, "No," and walk out the room.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's a bit of a dad joke.
It's a perfect dad joke.
Yeah.
And you are a dad, so.
This is true. This is. I mean, that's not stopped me. I've been telling dad jokes for a long time. But now I've got the excuse.
They're the best kinds.
Yeah. One of my favourites is still never marry a tennis player. Love means nothing to them.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourites.
I can't tell you any of my go-to jokes because they're all really bad. Like in a, I'll tell them at work to the blokes at work kind of way, but not in a, I'll tell them in polite society on the radio.
Oh yeah, you've always got to have a set of those.
Yeah. No, just to be clear, they're not racist or homophobic or misogynist or anything like that. They're just really bad taste.
One of these days, I don't know if Ed, one of our co-hosts who hasn't been on the show for a long time, has his favourite joke is the orange for a head joke, which is a very long joke and a bit off the wall, but it is quite funny. One day I'll get him back on the show to tell the joke again. Pretty sure he's told it.
Did you ever see not Bill Burr? Yeah. No, not Bill Burr. Oh God, what was his name? Oh yeah, the comedian fella. Yeah, that narrows it down. Yeah, American comedian fella. The name will come to me later on, but he tells a joke on, I think it was Letterman, on David Letterman. He tells a joke about a moth going to a psychiatrist. Have you ever heard this one?
No.
It's this really long, meandering joke about, moth goes to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist says, so what's the problem? And the moth's, well, this, that, and I'm a moth, and am I, and all manner of moth-related problems. And he goes on and on and on at length about this. This whole joke lasts about 5 minutes. It's ridiculous. He goes on and on and on about it. And at the end, the psychiatrist says, so why exactly did you come here today? And the moth goes, well, I don't know, the light was on. And it's just an outrageous waste of 5 minutes, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, I quite enjoy those kind of jokes that go so far off course.
Yeah,
and keep coming back and promising you this is going to be, and then when they finally get to the end, it's really not worth the wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do kind of enjoy that.
On a similar subject, though, I saw Billy Connolly in Bournemouth many, many years ago, and his show was like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, whatever. It was one story. He told one story from start to finish, but he kept going off on tangents.
Yeah.
And so the story he started.
People who are able to do that so clever that they can remember where they were.
It's magnificent.
Most of the time, it's completely planned. And so they do. Ross Noble does it a lot. I think he's always going off.
Yeah.
And tangents, and then finding his way back again.
Yeah.
So,
magnificent.
Anyone who can do that is a round of applause for me for being able to do that.
Absolutely.
I can't remember one, 2 things, yet alone a whole string show worth.
I can't even remember a wholesome joke that I could tell on this show right now.
I always remember there used to be, when I was a kid, there used to be a little rhyme I was always telling. I think it's like old home video of me telling this joke. There's like a little rhyme thing. It says, birdie, birdie, flying high, drops a message from the sky. Oh, says the farmer, wiping his eye. Isn't it lucky cows don't fly? I always remember that.
10-year-old me would have loved that.
Yeah, I think 10-year-old me did. That's why I remembered it, because I told it so many times when I was a kid.
Lovely.
Anyway, we've done Story of the Week. What we come on to in this, when there's not so many of us and we take a quicker to get through some of these shows, is life is good. We talk about some of the things that we've done or seen or played recently, that we find particularly good, because there's too much negativity in the world. So that's what this show is all about, a bit of positivity. We do some funny stories and give you some positive things. So is there anything that happens maybe over Christmas that you saw or played, or anything that you might have got that was particularly brilliant?
In terms of TV, have you seen the new series of Staged popped up on iPlayer yesterday?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it. But
have you seen the first series?
No.
It's incredible. And the second series dials it up to 11. It's amazing. I won't tell you what the second series is about. Do you know what the basic premise is of Staged?
Yes. I can't remember. It's been a while since I.
Yeah. Well, so for anyone who doesn't know, it's David Tennant and Michael Sheen essentially talking to each other via Zoom, discussing a stage play that they were putting on before the lockdown was announced. And so it's them talking over Zoom, trying to rehearse, and then their producer comes in to offer input. And then there's a whole load of celebrity cameos that pop up throughout the whole thing, not necessarily playing themselves, but playing other characters. It's hard to explain. But the second series takes it to a whole new level. It's magnificent. We watched it. We started watching the first episode of it last night, and we ended up watching all bar 2 of the episodes because they're only 15 minutes long. And the first episode, after a few minutes, my wife looked at me and she said, "Are we watching the right thing, or is this a making of, or what's?" And then it all clicked into place. It is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I might have to give that a try.
Yeah,
to add that to my list, because I've got so many things to
well, you could binge the entire first series. You could probably do in about 2 hours, and the same for the second. They're, like I say, they're only 15-minute episodes, and there's only about 8 or 9 episodes per series.
This week I've sold a few things on the Facebook Marketplace, clearing out some cupboard space, clearing out some old DVDs and Blu-rays and what have you. And I found my old Buffy and Angel DVD box sets.
Nice.
I thought, well, I've only watched them once through, and I do love them, but I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to sit and watch them. At some point, I will want to stream them, probably better quality than these DVDs. So I listed them. I got 15 quid each for them in the end. I thought, better than taking up space in the cupboard. And literally the day that both of them sold, I got an email from Disney Plus saying, introducing Star. Launching on the 23rd of February. It's just going to be an extra channel on Disney Plus, and it's going to include lots of extra stuff, like, and it gave examples like 24 and Family Guy and all the Fox stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Movies and goodness what else. And they said they'll announce the full lineup nearer the time, but they confirmed in a press release that it will double the amount of stuff on Disney Plus.
Nice.
And I suddenly thought, I bet Buffy and Angel are a part of that. And I may have just sold my DVDs exactly the right time.
Perfect. You ever see the thing about how bad the high def remasters of Buffy were?
No.
There's a really interesting article. I think it was on YouTube, or was it? No, it was a written article with screen grabs and yeah, just saying just how poor, because it wasn't filmed with high def in mind. Because of course it wasn't. It was a teenage show, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was kind of a silly throwaway show for teenagers made in the 90s. So it wasn't filmed with high def in mind. I think it was filmed on video rather than videotape. Okay. And so the high def restorations of it are really, really poor in places. It's fascinating.
I'm gonna have to pick that out.
Yeah. Like there's a bit where they've recropped it, but included like a boom or the edge of the set, because it was framed in such a way that it couldn't have. It was fine for the original format.
We would have started, and probably in 4:3. I expect.
Well, exactly. And then you redo it in 16:9, and well, invariably you're going to get bits that shouldn't have been in a frame, or you're going to cut half the frame off the top and bottom.
Yeah, which is part of what they did in The Simpsons, isn't it? When Disney Plus added it, they cut out loads of visual jokes by mistake.
Yeah.
I think the example was, I think they showed it was in the Duff factory, and the joke was the pipes at the top. Duff like Duff regular, Duff. They're all coming from the same pipe.
Yeah.
That joke got cut off because they'd letterboxed it. So it's like the whole thing's pointless.
Oh, did you see Gene's guy on The Mandalorian? Did you see about this? There was a scene in the final episode of The Mandalorian where I don't know how the hell people see these things. It's like a split second. You won't see it now because Disney have removed it. They've edited it and put it back up again. But yeah, it's like a split second. Somebody noticed somebody in the background, so paused it, screen grabbed it, boosted the brightness, and there's I think he's a sound guy holding a boom mic, wearing just like t-shirt and jeans, clearly stood in the background of this scene. Not even just like off to one side. He's just kind of stood behind a bit of scenery at the back of the scene.
I can imagine that being quite easy to do, and the way that they film some of that stuff.
Yeah,
in the big circular thing. It must be quite people all over the place, and sending people in and not taking them out or whatever. Yeah, no, that's great. I like that. I like that kind of stuff when you see people in those things, or almost little mistakes that sometimes they leave in.
Yeah,
whether it's Ben-Hur with his wristwatch on the or whatever.
Of course, as somebody pointed out, they then somebody on Twitter dressed up in the same outfit and said, "Wow, cosplay's got cheap now."
And I saw this thing recently. I think it was Comic Relief were doing a Love Actually watch along just before Christmas on Twitter, and they tweeted this fact that said, because it was about a mistake in the film where Hugh Grant as the Prime Minister is seen in one tie, and then like a few seconds later he's seen in a different colour tie. And it turned out that basically both of those different parts of the same scene were filmed either side of lunch, and Hugh Grant took his tie off and had a bit of a kip, and when he woke up he just picked the wrong one up and put it on, and no one noticed. It's literally like, I'm pretty sure in those types of films someone's job is to work out what goes where and what should be where.
Of course, if it was Disney, they'd just CGI the right tie onto him.
CGI, yeah. Oh no, it depends. If it was Disney, it was that. If it was Lucas, they just CGI a little alien blocking tie, so that you couldn't tell.
The tie would shoot first.
Dear, Star Wars jokes always. I always think as well, after seeing The Mandalorian and the few times where he took his mask off, is how we managed to keep that little moustache so neat, and he hardly ever takes that thing off.
That's a good point, actually. I hadn't thought of that.
There we go.
Because I couldn't keep a neat moustache, and I don't wear a mask, except when I'm shopping.
Yes, that's it. When I'm required by law.
Yeah, I'm responsible.
Which we now have to do when dropping off the little one at nursery. That's a new rule. Wear the mask outside nursery as well.
It's not a face mask. It's a big rubber horse mask.
Yeah, if it's that kind of mask you want.
Look like BoJack Horseman. Now, see, if that's got filters in it, you should wear that.
I have to take it apart maybe and see if it works.
Yeah, put some filters in it and wear that up the Tesco.
It was up here, but it fell off the wall. I just hit something else when I threw it on the bed as well. I bought myself a little treat this week. I say treat, it's just quite nerdy and geeky and technical. A smart extension.
Ooh.
Where each individual socket can be controlled.
Nice.
As can the USBs at the end.
That's very cool, actually.
So I can control it by the thing. I've got ordered a new Google Home, which is going to come and sit in because mine is quite big.
Yeah.
And it takes up too much space. So I'm going to get rid of that and replace it with a little Google Home, so I can just turn these lights on and off by voice.
Yeah, we've been on that train for a while with the Amazon version of it. I shan't say the name because it goes mad.
Yes, of course.
We bought, because what happens is when you get your first you get an email from Amazon going, "Hey, now you've got one of these. Why don't you take part in this special offer?" And you get an Amazon branded smart plug for like I don't know, £10, I think it is, or something. They're usually about 25 quid because they're decent quality. So you get the first one and you plug a set of lights into it and you go, well, actually, these are pretty cool. And before you know it, you've got 17 of the things. Not Amazon ones, of course, because they're bloody expensive, but you can get some generic Chinese pack of 3 for 12 quid.
Yeah. This is called T.
Yeah.
I bought a single one before Christmas because one of our timer sockets broke. We only have 2 for the Christmas tree lights. And because we were in a crappy year, we decided to have 2 trees this year, the real one and get the fake one out. So we had the fake one
you bourgeoisie.
in the dining room. And we decided to decorate it a bit more kid-friendly, the one in the dining room. It had lots of weird little silly things on it. And time broke, so I bought one of these smart things for about a tenner and named it Christmas Tree. So I could say, hey, turn the Christmas tree on. Turn on. And it was all well and good. And then I decided, I want those in the office for ease of use, for turning on said lights and stuff, the on-air light behind me when I'm doing the radio. I'm a bit like that. Come on, let's go on air, have the light turn on.
Yeah.
And I realised I found online that you get these smart sockets extensions. And now this one is available online for £45.
Yeep.
Which is, a bit much. And I thought, no, I'm not happy with that. So I did a quick Google search. £29.99 at Screwfix, or 20 quid at Wilko.
Huh.
So I walked around the corners of Wilko's when they first opened the other day, walked straight in there. No one else in there. Oh, no, there they are behind the counter. I'll have one of them, please. 20 quid.
Huh. And you say you can control each socket individually?
Each socket individually, and you can name them on the app. So I've named them monitor and lamp and what have you. So I can. I'm
assuming this isn't a sponsored piece, but it's worked.
It's not a sponsored piece, but it is quite good. Yeah. So it's called TCP Smart. It is a 4-socket extension cable and 4 USBs. The USBs are controlled as one, not individually. I thought it was quite good.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff. Key things, I'm an idiot for getting all this kind of things plugged in everywhere, but it has multiple purposes because I'm going to be moving my setup here into the smaller back bedroom once Hunter takes this as his bedroom.
Yeah.
And the extension cable I've got in here is really long. It's like a 5-meter long extension cable because of where the socket is in relation to where I am. But I'm not going to want 5-meter cable trawling under my desk because my new desk is going to be right next to the socket.
Yeah.
I needed one with a shorter cable, and I just happened to go for one with smart controls. So that's what I did.
Yeah. See, I'm absolutely going to look that up on Wilko. After I've
I looked up online and they were out of stock on the website, and I just wandered into the shop on the off chance, and there they were behind the customer services counter, a pile of them.
Amazing.
There we go. There's a little a non-sponsored advert.
And there was me being all excited because I bought myself some new slippers the other day. I bought some new slippers from Lidl the other day, and my feet are nice and warm, and it's great.
Oh, I do like a nice pair of slippers. I was disappointed I didn't get any for Christmas this year because these.
Neither did I. That's why I treated myself.
My toe poking through one of them at the moment, which is not ideal. So we're talking about slippers and sockets here on the Deadly Exercise.
Red hot middle-aged chat.
Where the news story of the week was a Brussels sprout. So, ticking all the boxes. Everyone's loving the show tonight.
Truly, we are a podcast of the people.
Absolutely.
Assuming those people are suffering a bit with the bit of sciatica.
Oh, don't start talking about pains. I can tell you. Oh, dear. The other thing is, I always get one of these for Christmas. Someone always sends me one of these type vouchers. These 1 for all vouchers that you can use in the high street.
Oh, those things are annoying.
Obviously, the high street not mainly being open.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find. I'm like, what can I buy? And it suddenly dawned on me I should have bloody used it when I bought the Google Home, but never mind.
My wife got one of those for her 40th with 40 quid on it. Last year, her birth, not last year, 2019. And she went to buy a new mouse with it about 3 months ago. And the only place that she could buy the mouse she wanted, proper gaming mouse, decent SteelSeries gaming mouse, the only place she could buy it was Curry's, Currys don't accept that voucher online. They only accept it in store. Their stores were closed. This was over the Black Friday weekend.
Yeah.
Argos had it at the same price, but only for that weekend, and the stores were closed. So she still, as far as I'm aware, she's still got this bloody voucher over a year later. She ended up just buying it on Amazon. So as much as I hate Amazon, for future reference, if anybody wants to buy me a gift voucher, just buy me a bloody Amazon voucher.
Yeah, that's the way forward. As much as I don't like to give Bezos any more money, sometimes it's just easier.
Yeah.
Although I noticed this thing that's happened to me recently. It used to be.
Nope, you've gone. He's gone again. Oh dear. Have I got a vamp on my own again? But I'm looking at plug sockets on wilco.com. I can't hold down the fort. Hold the fort, I should say, not hold down the fort. Trying to find plug sockets. Nope, he's gone. I've just got to talk to Nakul00 messaged us, hey, like 20 minutes ago or something. So, hey, Nakul00. There's now no one watching. So I'm guessing the two people that were watching were Al and Al on his other account. So, this is the Dead Piett Society, and I am apparently the Dead Piett Society. Oh, he's back.
Hey, here we are.
There he is.
Sorry about that. I can't remember what I was trying to say.
Something about Amazon.
Oh yeah. I would say back in the day, what I would have done is I'd have gone into the town, into the high street, looked at something and thought, oh, I like that. Let me check on Amazon to see how much it is, and then buy it whilst I was in the shop. These days, I seem to do the other way around. If I think I want something, I search for it on Amazon to see which one's the best.
Yeah.
And then I try and find an independent retailer that sells it at a reasonable cost. So I started trying to do the other way around. Did that with a few things. The new child care car seat we bought for Hunter.
Yeah.
I researched it on Amazon and then bought it somewhere else.
Nice. I've taken to buying a load of stuff from Clarence Hardware around the corner on Foy's Corner.
Oh, yeah.
I love it in there. Because you go in there.
I've been past it so many times.
He is amazing. He is the only shopkeeper I've ever come across who will downsell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. You'll go in there and you'll say, the other day I went in there for some cable cutters and he brought out two pairs. One was just this sort of cheap Decton side cutters. The other was like this super fancy Nipex type ones for like 25 quid. And he put them both in front. Hit me microphone. Put them both in front of me, and he said, "Yeah, you probably just want the cheaper ones, really, because the other ones, they're too expensive." And that's not the first time he's done that, which is why I keep going back.
Yeah, well, I suspect that's why he does it.
Absolutely, and it works.
He's probably got, they're his own ones. Those other ones, you don't want these.
But he was telling me his old man bought that shop about 50 years ago, and he's worked in it for most of his life. I mean, he finished school and started working there.
It doesn't look like it's changed from the outside at all.
No, it hasn't. No.
Proper open all hours feel to it.
Yeah, it should. Clarence Corner, because Clarence Hardware has been there twice as long as Foy's furniture shop ever was.
Yeah, I think so. Right, well, I think we've basically reached the end of the show for the evening. We're obviously having some connection issues, so it might be a good place to wrap it up for the night.
Oh, the irony. Ah, dear. But I'm still looking for plug strips.
all the time
off,
as I was saying about having tech issues and saying goodbye. Oh dear.
Yeah, perfect.
We're coming back for that.
I think you want to restart your router, Al, and then we can get on with the show.
Yeah. I'll have to make sure I do that before I use the internet for something like this again. So thank you anyone who's watched, and thank you for anyone who's listened on the Bear. If I've managed to edit this into something, and we will be back next week with more news stories. Myself and whoever else may be with us, whether that's Darren and Lloyd or Ed, KTJP, whoever is around for the week, will be here next week. And until then, don't forget to check out the Bear, thebear.live, the latest radio station. Check out all the shows. Darren is on Monday nights 8 till 10. I am on Tuesday nights 8 till 10, and then the Piett Society is on Fridays 7 till 8. And there's other good stuff in between, and obviously there's repeats as well. I forget who does what, but I am now doing repeats, so you'll hear my show again Thursday afternoon and Friday at midnight, and I forget what times yours are, but you've got some repeats on as well.
Excellent, because you need to hear it more than once to really pick up the nuance.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now with the new system, we've got some new features. So there's a request show now as well, which doesn't involve any DJs whatsoever. So 3 till 6 every day, or 3 till 5 on Wednesdays, is the request show. You can go to the bear.live/requests, search on musical data, and you will hear it on the radio.
Do the new features make my show sound good?
Before, which was really good.
I didn't hear you because you just broke up again.
Oh. I said they make it sound as good as it did before, which was really good.
Oh, well, fantastic.
So better than this, anyway, that's for sure.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is Sony Radio Gold. This is
quality. Oh yes, I'm going to submit us some awards.
This is Norman Collier's broken microphone strung out to an entire radio show.
Well,
one for the kids there.
We'll say good night. So good night, everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
See you.